One of the basic functions of the Theta camera is not only taking pictures, but showing thumbnails of pictures that have been taken. If you're building a mobile app for the Theta, there's a good chance you'll use thumbnails. The command is camera.listFiles. After you've taken a picture, the URL of the save file is stored in state._latest file URL and shows in the output of the state command. API version 2.1 allows for acquiring a binary resource by a GET request for the file URL. To acquire a thumbnail, add a query type equals thumb to the URL. Refer to the Getting Started section of the API documentation for an example of acquiring a binary resource. If these types of videos are useful, please take a half second to subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell. Thank you. Okay, back to list files. In testing the API, we found that the Z1 and the V work for list files, but the SC2 does not. I'm using a tool developed by us here at OpKey called T-Preview that shows quite clearly the difference in responses to the API calls. First, I'm connecting to Theta V. I'm running the command T-Preview list files. See how it shows 10 entries? This is the default setting. You can control this by setting max entry. It shows 10 entries, but I've got more total pictures on the camera than that. The total number of images is shown as total entries, which is 20. Next, I want to get the thumbnails. In the API, it shows that you need to set max thumb size to 640. If you set it to 0, you'll see that a thumbnail entry exists, but the binary data for thumbnail will not be displayed. Okay, so run T-Preview list files with max thumb size set to 640. See how under thumbnail it nicely shows the binary data. Like I mentioned, it displays 10 entries. You can set this. Here I'm setting it to show just 3 entries. This is setting entry count equals 3. Here I'm showing just 3 entries without thumbnail data by setting max thumb size to 0. Alright, so the Theta V works nicely. It's easy to grab thumbnail information. It does what the documentation says. Please note, unfortunately, the Theta V is no longer in production. It's a great camera and still widely used, but it's no longer being manufactured by RICOH. Okay, I'm going to try working with Theta Z. I'm going to run list files. Again, the default setting shows 10 entries. I take a lot of pictures with the Z1 since it's a really great camera. Next, I want to see if I can get thumbnail data. Also, I'll limit the number of entries. Yep, there it is. Nice. I'll just quickly see if I can list images without thumbnail info by setting max thumb size to 0 again. Yep, looks good. Okay, lots of people like the Theta SC2 for its low price, nice OLED screen in front, variety of colors, and quick boot up time. Let's take a look at how it responds. I'm going to list files. It shows the list of 10 entries, shows the total number of images on the camera, that's 372. Okay, I use the SC2 a lot. And it is behaving as expected so far. But then I want to show thumbnails like we did with the V and the Z1. I run the command. It only shows 1 entry. Maybe I needed to explicitly set the number of entries. We didn't have to with the V and the Z1, but I'll do it here. I set the entry count to 3. There's still only 1 entry. So you can see the API calls are identical, but the output from the SC2 is noticeably different. Luckily, this is pretty easy to handle. There is a workaround. Check this channel for a tutorial that shows how to loop through the list of files on the camera to manage the thumbnails.